I'm Dr. Gene Antonucci. I started my career in dentistry in the Air Force, where I helped our military personnel get healthy and stay healthy. From there, I built a successful practice in Huntington, New York, and later as a teacher, lecturer, and author, I shared my knowledge and experience with students and fellow healthcare professionals. And now my journey's taken me here to explore the world of health, wellness, diet, fitness, and nutrition, as together we discover and find the good life. Welcome to Finding the Good Life, Dr. Gene. Growing up has its challenges at any time. Before the current crisis that we're facing now, we're already dealing with so many challenges with childhood, for children growing up. Kids today face major peer pressure, and they deal with an excess amount of information. Their diets are unhealthy. They have far too much sugar and processed fat. Children and young adults simply don't get enough physical activity and have far too much electronic stimulation. And because of the way children are parented, they lack experience in solving and facing issues for themselves. So today we want to look at these issues. With this crisis we're facing, all of this is amplified. Adults can hardly deal with it. How does this affect our children and young adults? They're home 24/7. There's no escape from parents, from dealing with confusing and frightening information. And they see their parents scared and out of sorts. How will this affect them as they grow up? Today's show will deal with helping our children navigate the world that they live in. Our first guest today is Dr. Adam Saenz. He has a PhD in psychology and is the author of the best-selling book, The Power of a Teacher. Thank you so much for being with us today, Doctor. I'm happy that you can share your thoughts with us, and I'm looking forward to what you have to say. You've devoted your life to dealing with challenges in education, but I bet you were never prepared for what's going on today.
The challenges we're facing are unprecedented. Clearly, we are in uncharted water. So all the more reason to practice self-awareness and self-regulation. If we can do it now, then we can do it anytime.
So let's go back a step before we even look at what's going on today. What are the most common issues that you deal with when you counsel children and adolescents?
Do you mean generally speaking, or in the context of what's happening?
In general, yeah. Yes.
A lot of it, when we're working with children, it has to do with the feelings of depression and anxiety. Feelings of anxiety can come from, we deal a lot with, which especially children who are raised in an upper middle to upper class environment. There's a lot of pressure to perform, and that begins to wear on them. So we treat a lot of anxiety disorders in our clinic. We also treat anxiety in children that come from low socioeconomic homes or rough neighborhoods because they're scared. They don't know that they're safe. They live in a state of fight or flight. They're hyper arousal. And then we see depression. A lot of children just feel sad about the struggles that they're facing. The world today, it sounds kind of cliche to say, that it's such a different world than when we grew up. But the reality is that it's such a different world than it was 5 years ago. It's not even a generational thing anymore.
And now on top of that, you throw what's going on. That must amplify everything to the nth degree.
It really has. And what's really challenging for us as mental health providers is, on one hand, really what we're seeing in children now as a result of all these national changes, it's really not causing most of what we see now. It's really just exposing what's already been there. It is causing some trauma, but honestly, we're not going to see that for another 6 to 12 months after kids go back into schools. If we're thinking that, things will be back to normal, they sort of will, but kids are going to have and we as a country will have a lot of collective emotion that we'll need to process, for years down the road.
We have to take a short break, but will you stay with us a bit longer?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Over 70 years of experience in heart and aviation, the members of the Association of Flight Attendants know the realities of the aircraft cabin better than anyone. We don't just serve drinks, we save lives. We don't just negotiate contracts, we move major policy issues like the smoking ban, no knives on planes, clean water, and safe food on board. The air we breathe matters, and we stop the spraying of poisonous pesticides. The Association of Flight Attendants. Stronger together, better together.
We're back with Dr. Adam Saenz. So if you had to boil things down, which I know is really difficult and probably an unfair question, but if you had to boil down to a couple of most positive lessons that we can learn today, what would you say? What would they be?
One of the most important and valuable lessons that we can learn is we're learning the power of adaptability and flexibility. Control freaks are not doing well with this, right? And so this is just reminding us that on any given day, we could wake up and there are things we just can't control. So this is a wonderful opportunity to learn the value of surrender across so many domains: financial surrender, professional surrender, educational surrender, occupational, all of that. It's one of the most important things we can learn is the value of surrender. And the second thing I would say is this. It's very hard to be in the moment now because we're worried about all of those things that we can't control. We're worried about money and our jobs and about our kids' education and the illness itself. But the bottom line is that it's very unlikely that any family in America will ever have this unique opportunity to be together this way again. So I would say, use this time to love each other, to invest in each other, to be with each other, to deepen relationships, to deepen intimacy, because full and overwhelming as the whole thing is, it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. We have been given the gift of time. So much has been taken away, but the gift of time is generous right now. So let's invest it in love.
I think those are the most powerful words that one can hear. You gave a lot of important information. Your book is The Power of a Teacher. Where can we learn more about you?
Probably the best way would be to go to my website, and it's my name. It's adamsaenz.com.
Dr. Saenz, thank you so much. We'll be right back with more of Finding the Good Life.